We have the first major move in the MLB offseason as the New York Yankees have made a big-time trade with the San Diego Padres, acquiring star outfielder Juan Soto. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, especially getting through the very tough YouTube algorithm. Comment down below, what are your thoughts on the Juan Soto trade? And what is your takeaway from the Padres perspective, from the Yankees perspective? My other Mets fans, what are your thoughts about it? Or if you're a fan from any other team, I would also like to hear your feedback and your thoughts. Also, comment down below what kind of videos you guys would like to see. As you know, been on a break for a while, but trying to get back into it, especially when there is big news like Juan Soto being traded. And if you are someone who's been watching for a long time, has been a subscriber, you know the deal. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a friar, tell a padre, tell whoever it is. It greatly helps me out. This was a trade that we were expecting. I mean, we've been hearing about it for a while now, especially over the last day or so. We had been hearing a lot about the Yankees and Padres getting closer and closer to the Juan Soto deal. We knew that Michael King was going to be the headliner piece for the Yankees going to the Padres, and it makes sense on both sides. I mean, the Yankees, them not making the playoffs, I feel like people didn't make a big enough deal about it. This is the New York Yankees we are talking about. This is the team with the most championships in all of Major League Baseball. This is a team with such a legacy. I mean, it's crazy that they've had such a long streak of making the playoffs. So for them to totally miss the postseason, they need to do something big time. And Juan Soto is almost as big time as it gets. Outside of getting Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto is the biggest move that you can make if you're the New York Yankees. And obviously, he's going to be a perfect fit for the Yankees. We know that their ballpark plays very well towards left-handed power hitters, and that's what Juan Soto is. And he's not just a power hitter. I mean, the thing that I love about Juan Soto is that there's only one of him. There's only one guy who is that young, with that kind of discipline, that kind of eye, who can give you that kind of on-base percentage. I mean, when the guy was a rookie, he had the eye of a guy who's been in the league for 10 years. I mean, so Juan Soto, there's only one of him. He's been great every year. He's a guy that year in, year out, he puts up awesome numbers. I know the batting average wasn't good this past season with San Diego, but when you look at all his other numbers, they're still top echelon. I mean, the talent is still there. And I'm very curious to see, how he does in Yankee Stadium. You got to imagine those power numbers are going to go up even more with him pulling the ball to right field. So I expect to see an even better year out of Juan Soto. I also am very curious to see where the Yankees end up batting him in correlation to where they bat Aaron Judge, because the combination of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto is a very fearsome duo that no other pitcher would want to face. So I wonder, do you want to protect Aaron Judge and protect Juan Soto by batting them right after each other? Do you want to split them up a little bit, the whole lefty-righty that we know a lot of managers love to do? So I'm very curious to see how that goes. We know Aaron Judge is capable of being an MVP. Juan Soto is capable of being an MVP as well. Now, offensively, it works out great. Defensively, not as much. I think now with the Yankees also acquiring Alex Verdugo, he's most likely going to be a corner outfielder on this team as well, along with Juan Soto. That leaves Aaron Judge playing center field. And while Aaron Judge can play center field and do a really good job because he is a very good defensive outfielder, he is an awesome athlete. The only thing that would concern me if I was a Yankees fan is you look at Aaron Judge having the injuries, obviously the incident in Los Angeles, Aaron Judge couldn't do much about that. That was a freak accident. But I think that when he's a guy at that stature, when you're playing center field, a lot more mileage on the body, a lot more taxing. So I do wonder how the Yankees will utilize this whole situation. Maybe Juan Soto DHs a little bit. And I'm curious to see just how many games they do intend on having Aaron Judge playing center field. Because, again, he could get the job done, no problem. I do wonder about the sustainability of having Aaron Judge in center field, especially with the mega contract that the Yankees gave him last offseason. He is going to be on this team for a long time as well. Now, obviously, the big deal with Juan Soto is the fact that he is yet another Scott Boras client, which means that in all likelihood, Juan Soto will be going to free agency when his contract is up at the end of this upcoming season. And obviously, the Yankees have plenty of money, so trying to re-sign Juan Soto, it shouldn't be an issue. In my opinion, you don't make the trade for Juan Soto if you don't have the intention of re-signing him, because anytime you do a rental, it is very risky. They had a bad year last year, so I don't think they're a Juan Soto away from going to the World Series. It obviously helps them out a ton, but I do think that they do need to make some other moves. So if you're like, okay, we're going all in, we're getting Juan Soto and maybe not re-signing him, that would be a big issue. So I do imagine that the Yankees have got to do, it's got to be a top priority for them to keep Juan Soto. And what I always like, and I've talked about this plenty of times on the Mets Weekly podcast, I will link that in the description, I like the idea of trading for a guy like this. It lets you see what the player can do for your organization before making the risk of signing them for 10 or more years. I think with a guy like Juan Soto, you get to see how does he perform in New York. Is he going to be a good Yankee? Is he going to be a good fit for this team? Because I'll tell you what, if the Yankees, they traded for Giancarlo Stanton with the Marlins, if he only had a year or two left on that contract, I'm not sure if they're re-signing him, because right now that trade is not looking too great, because Giancarlo Stanton, he's another corner outfielder who's going to be DHing for this team, because you got to have Juan Soto, Aaron Judge in the lineup, and I guess in all likelihood you could throw Alex Verdugo in there as well. So you have Stanton, who's been here for who's going to be here for even longer, and contract's not looking good. You want to make sure that Juan Soto is the perfect fit, and he probably will be, because he's just that good. But this gives you that reassurance. And even for Juan Soto himself, you would have to always be a little skeptical when you're going to a new organization. But if everything goes well, Juan Soto will know what it's like to be a Yankee. And if he likes it here, it will increase the chances of him re-signing compared to just being a free agent and having no idea what he's getting himself into. I always call this the Mookie Betts method, because this is what the Dodgers did with Mookie Betts, and it ended up working out for them. The Mets are trying with Francisco Lindor. We'll see if it ends up working, because they still have a lot of work to do, which we will get into shortly. Now, from the Padres' perspective, it's not something that's going to blow you away as far as the return that they got, but for a rental, it seems like it is some good pieces that they got. Again, obviously, Michael King is the headliner. He is a very versatile arm, a guy that can give you multiple innings or be a really good reliever for you. He's got absolutely awesome stuff, so he's going to be a nice piece for the Padres, and the fact that he's young is always a plus. The Padres were also able to get some other young pitchers for the Yankees, and we know that's always a top priority for every organization. Trying to have a bunch of really good young arms is obviously super important. And we heard the stories coming out earlier in the offseason about the Padres and how much money they've been spending in recent years. The fact that they may have to offload some of that money, and I think them trading Juan Soto gives a pretty good indication of where they're at financially. They did not have the intention of re-signing him, because it would make their high payroll even higher. With the money that they've committed to Manny Machado, the money committed to Fernando Tatis and others, it would be pretty tough to also fit in a Juan Soto contract if you are struggling financially and you're the Padres. The Yankees also did get back Trent Grisham, who's a guy who he's had a bit of a wild career. I mean, obviously the infamous play when he started with the Milwaukee Brewers in right field in that wild card game again with Josh Hader and the Nationals, the ball goes under his glove. He gets traded to the Padres, ends up having a good year. Turns out to be a really good defensive center fielder. And now his past year, offense wasn't too great, but we saw what he could do in the playoffs against the Mets, hitting those home runs. So he is a guy, another lefty bat, and a really good defensive center outfielder. So he's a guy that fits his Yankees team really well. I like that they have really shown that they are prioritizing left-handed outfielders, because that's something that they have needed. I mean, you see when Aaron Judge went down, they didn't have outfielders to really replace him. And you don't replace an Aaron Judge's bat, but also, again, just you saw the lack of outfielders that they have. With that ballpark that the Yankees do have, you need to have as many left-handers as possible. It just plays to your advantage. It gives you a much better chance of success. So Trent Grisham, another guy, I can see him performing well in Yankee Stadium because he is a pull hitter. So having that short right field also plays to his advantage. So between Verdugo, Grisham, Soto, that's really three left-handed outfielders that the Yankees have got this week. So I am curious to see what other moves the Yankees make. And obviously the big guy that's out there that they're talking about, the Mets are talking about, everybody's talking about, Yoshi Yamamoto. That's the big one. And now we could turn over to the Mets side. I feel like they got to get Yoshi Yamamoto. I mean, all these guys that they have been linked to, connected to, I'm not impressed. It doesn't blow me away as a Mets fan, and I'm going to try my best to stay calm. I'm going to try my best to stay patient and trust David Stearns, because he's supposed to be this big-time, brilliant baseball mind, the guy that we were clamoring for, the guy that we really wanted. Obviously, I really wanted him too, because he is a very good baseball guy. He's able to find talent and things like that, but you can only make so many minor league signings and, try to have me excited and impressed and ready for the season and feel confident and comfortable. I really need to see more from David Stearns and the Mets. And I'll tell you what, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because obviously when a guy like Juan Soto is available, like I said in the beginning, there's only one Juan Soto. He's a very unique player. Obviously, you want a guy like that on your team. I mean, he would have been huge for the Mets, be able to give P. Alonso that protection. We know the Mets need corner outfielders as well. So, obviously, he would have been a perfect fit for the Mets. But he ends up going to the Yankees, and it's just frustrating as a Mets fan when you want Juan Soto, but you don't have the young pitchers that the Yankees do to offer to acquire Juan Soto. So that seems like something that David Stearns is working on, getting young pitchers. And you know what? I hope he finds the right guys. I hope Jeremy Hefner could actually develop these arms. I hope the minor league farm system could actually develop these arms. So for me, I'm just putting all my faith that David Stearns knows what he's doing, that he can get Yamamoto. Because if the Yankees get Yamamoto, look out for a big-time rage video for me. Because where do the Mets turn next? Where do they go? They're not getting Blake Snell. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez already signed. Jordan Montgomery. I mean, listen, if the Yankees get Juan Soto and Yamamoto and the Mets come back with Jordan Montgomery, I mean, again, you have a hard time getting me very excited and throwing a party. I mean, I got to see something here. I mean, just give me something. I don't want the Jung Ho Lees. I don't want the Michael A. Taylors. I don't want the Kevin Kiermaiers. I need to see some power in this lineup. I want to see proven guys, not all these minor league deals. I've said it before. I want Teoscar Hernandez or Jorge Soler or Jock Peterson. This team needs power. We can't have a bunch of other slap hitters, and that's what they've been bringing in. You know, Joey Wendell is a player that I like, but I don't think he's a good fit for this Mets team. This team needs some other guys who can put the ball over the fence. They have a hole at third base. You're hoping that a young player could step up, and Mauricio could do it, or Beatty could do it. I just feel like there's so many holes on this Mets team, and for them to really be looking at all these minor league deals, and that's all the guys they're connected to, I have a really hard time believing it's going to get the job done. Because in Milwaukee, sure, Stearns did a great job getting pitchers, like I've talked about a million times on the Mets Weekly podcast. He's gotten these guys you never heard of, and they turn out to be great. But what's been Milwaukee's biggest struggle year after year after year? Offense. What did the Brewers do at the trade deadline? They needed offense, so they traded for Mark Canha from the Mets. That's the kind of things that they've done for offense. And they didn't have the Steve Cohen budget, so there's no excuse. It's not Milwaukee again. So I do want to see them spend at least a little bit in offense to get some quality guys in here, proven guys who can actually make an impact, can actually are needle movers a little bit, and can actually fill these big holes that the Mets have in their lineup. And yes, they have big holes in the pitching as well. Do not get me wrong. I do want them to prioritize pitching, get more pitchers. But again, can I at least see a couple proven guys, a couple of guys that we've heard before? I mean, are we just going to rely on all minor league guys and high upside with spin rates and things like that? And again, I'm trying my best to trust Stearns. But when I see the crosstown team do things like this, it's just a little frustrating. So I'm trying to keep my hopes up. Hope the Mets get Yamamoto. But if they don't, I'm going to be very aggravated. So make sure to stay tuned for that you subscribe so you don't miss that video, because it will be an interesting one, to say the least. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the Juan Soto trade. And until the next one, be safe, be smart, be healthy, and have a good one, everybody.